Manchester United nil, Everton 1. And again, what can I say? Another disappointing game, a disappointing performance as well. More points dropped at home. And yeah, but before we get into that, before we speak about the game, I want to speak a little bit about the starting lineup. And I thought that it was a little bit too defensive. So Ruben Amorim did decide to go with obviously Lemens in net, Euro, Dillet, Shaw making up the back three, Mazraoui, Casemiro, Bruno and Dogu with the four in midfield, and then Mbeumo, Ahmad and Zirkzee as the forward players. So in terms of the changes from my lineup, Zirkzee and Mazraoui started ahead of Cunha and Mount. Cunha was out injured, but in terms of the starting 11, like I mentioned, in my opinion, it was too defensive. You know, playing two defensive players at a wing back at home against Everton, it was too pragmatic in my opinion, and we struggled in terms of the wide, in terms of when we were trying to move the ball in the wide areas with regards to in the first half when Mazraoui and Dogu were there. It did get a little bit better in the second half, but I think it was a little bit too late. In terms of the opening 10 minutes, I thought we started poorly. We struggled to get a foothold in the game, and Everton were pressing us really well and stopping us playing out from the back. And Everton definitely did kind of had a really good opening 10 minutes up until Idrissa Gueye got sent off. And in terms of that incident, I'll speak a little bit about that as well. I'll be honest, I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was just bewildering to me. I was kind of lost for words with regards to what I just seen. So what happened was, after presenting the ball to Man United and nearly conceding a goal, Gueye is verbally reprimanded by Keane. However, that disagreement spills over into full-blown argument and Gueye strikes his own teammate, and I couldn't believe he'd done it. I think that it was probably a little bit too harsh, because yes, he does use his hand, and yes, it does go towards Keane's face. But I think that because it's a issue between players on the same team, I thought it was a little bit harsh to send him off. And personally, I wanted to see what Man United can do against 11 men, because this season we have benefited from red cards earlier on in the season, you know, at Old Trafford against Chelsea. But nonetheless, when we did have the man advantage, we didn't play any better than we did before. So really, the man advantage didn't really do anything for us in terms of going forward. We were just as poor after Everton went down to 10 men. So in terms of Everton's goal, it came in the 29th minute through Dewsbury-Hall. Euro and Bruno allowed Dewsbury-Hall too much space to cut inside. On his weaker foot, he bends it into the top right corner, and it's really poor defending, in my opinion, by Lenny Euro and Bruno Fernandes. But it's a really good strike by the Everton forward, and I think Lemens possibly could be doing a little bit better, but nonetheless, he does get a hand to it. But you know, it is kind of in the corner of the goal, so he can't really do much too much to save that. And then in terms of the chances, in terms of the first half, we really didn't have any. Dogu has a chance in the 32nd minute. Zirkzee and Mbeumo link up nicely on the right, and the former then curls over an inviting cross into the 6-yard box. It initially misses Ahmad, but Dogu arrives at the back post. However, he shins an awful effort well wide. So I think in terms of Dogu, I think he needs to be doing better with that chance. But in terms of halftime summary, we weren't great in terms of the first half. It didn't really improve too much in the second half either. So in terms of the halftime, I think Mazraoui and Dogu in the final third weren't great. I think our build-up play was awful when it was 11v11. And again, Everton pressed well and stopped Man United playing out from the back, but when they went down to 10 men, they kind of stopped pressing us and kind of went into a mid to low block, but still looked more threatening going forward as well on the break when they did get the ball. And in terms of the first half, United had 63% possession compared to Everton's 37%, but with that possession, we had 8 shots, only 2 of them on target against 10 men. In my opinion, in the first half, nowhere near good enough. In terms of the second half, we do make a couple of substitutions. Mazraoui does go off for Mount, and then Ahmad switches into the right wing back position, which I think we looked more threatening when Ahmad was at right wing back, but I think it was a little bit too late. We should be starting with that right from the off. And then in the 55th minute, Dogu and Casemiro do go off for Dalot and Mainu, and then we don't really have too many chances. I've only written down 2 chances here from my notes. In the 62nd minute, teed up nicely by Zirkzee, Mbeumo tests Pickford with a low strike. The England goalkeeper gets down rapidly to parry it away before Mount stays the follow-up wide. That was one chance. And then another one, Mount expertly brings down a lofted ball towards the left byline by De Ligt. De Ligt plays a really nice through ball to Mount. He then cuts it back perfectly for Bruno Fernandes, but the United captain unfortunately gets his finish all wrong, shooting over the crossbar from close range. And then finally, in the 79th minute, this is the other chance that I have noted down. Zirkzee has a header saved from a short cross, and Pickford... It's a good cross by Shaw to pick out Zirkzee. It's a good header by Zirkzee as well. And then Pickford has to make a really good save. But apart from that, in terms of going forward, we really didn't threaten too much. And yeah, it was a disappointing game, disappointing for performance. Really good chance for us to move up into the league table, but move up the league table. Sorry. And this game just goes to show, and along with the draws against Forest and Spurs, that we're not going to be getting Champions League football. You know, we need to be picking up points against these teams, and we need to be kind of in and around the Champions League spaces. And if we and currently we're not, due to this loss against Everton. And in terms of the starting 11, I thought it was too defensive, like I mentioned. Playing two defensive players at wing back was too pragmatic. Luke Shaw was poor in my opinion. I think he should have been getting forward a little bit more often down the left side. The left side overall wasn't great. I thought we were poor down that left side. When Dalot and Mount came on, Dalot went to left wing back, and then Mount went into the left inside 10 position, and they didn't offer too much going forward either. We were most threatening down the right side with Mbeumo and Ahmad linking up together. But in terms of overall play, we were moving the ball too slowly with no penetration, and we probably didn't deserve anything from the game, I'll be honest with you. In terms of Ruben Amorim's record in the Premier League, it now sits at 39 games, 12 wins, 9 draws and 18 losses, and he's accumulated a total of 45 points. But overall, it's a big opportunity missed to move into 5th place in the Premier League. 3 points dropped, like I said. And, you know, it's getting annoying because every time I get confident, we just lose. Every time I predict a win, we lose or draw. And I feel like as if I have to stop predicting. I'm going to stop predicting wins, you know, and be a little bit pessimistic, because every time I get a little bit of confidence, Man United just let me down. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. I'm really disappointed with the loss, like I was... especially because our performance didn't deserve anything from the game. We're at home as well. The onus is on us to kind of take the game to Everton. And, you know, for the majority of the match, for 80 minutes, we're playing against 10 men. And, you know, we can't create any clear-cut chances. Yes, Zirkzee's got a couple of headers here and there. But we're not creating, you know, we're not peppering Everton's goal like we should be doing, you know, because Everton are down to 10 men. It's 11 versus 10. We have the man advantage, and still, you know, we're not doing enough to get to come away with not even a draw. So we did deserve to lose this game, unfortunately. But yeah, let's get into the player ratings, and then we'll have a look at the league table. But overall, I'm not happy. You know, I'm not happy. So, Saint-Lemens, he couldn't really have done anything about from the goal. You can see that it's like literally in the top right hand corner. He does get a hand to it, possibly, and one could say he could be doing better, but you know, he can't be doing much with the strike. The accurate passes 14 out of 18, 78%. Accurate long balls 1 out of 4. Acted as a sweeper once as well, 1 high claim. But in terms of that, he was all right. He didn't really. He wasn't really tested, I'll be honest with you. You can look at that. He's made 0 saves there, so he wasn't really tested in goal. And yeah, like I said, with the goal he conceded, he couldn't have done too much about it. Elneny Yoro, he was getting into some space, especially with 10 men and that right inside channel higher up the pitch, but he doesn't really have the quality going forward. 73 out of 81 accurate passes, 2 chances created as well. In terms of his duels, he's won 7 out of 10 of his duels, which is decent as well. But I think possibly what could have been a little bit better is if we had took off Elneny Yoro and then put Mazraoui at right centre back and then put Ahmad at right wing back, and then you've got a little bit more technical ability going forward. Elneny Yoro was getting in some positions in that right inside channel, and he was just playing the ball side to side. There wasn't really any penetration, and we weren't really finding our number 10s in the pockets. And Everton, of course, they did defend well, but Man United were poor going forward. Matthias de Ligt, he had a total of 3 shots, which is interesting. From headers, 45th minute, 90th minute, and then in the 90th minute again, which was blocked. But in terms of accurate passes, 61 out of 66, 92%. In terms of his duels, he's won 6 out of 11, so he's won the majority of his duels there. But yeah, I think. He wasn't really at fault for the goal. I think Lenny Yoro and Bruno Fernandes were at fault for the goal. So yeah, Luke Shaw, I thought he was a little bit poor in my opinion. 86 out of 93 accurate passes in terms of his duels. He's won 6 out of 14 there. So he's not done great in terms of his duels. Only 2 out of 8 aerial duels won. So that isn't great in terms of going forward as well. He lacked that cutting edge going forward. Too often than not, I think he's got the quality going forward, but he was a little bit hesitant getting into the final third, overlapping Dalot and overlapping Dogu. And I thought it was a poor game by him. Gave the ball away once as well, and that could have led to a dangerous Everton counter attack. But yeah, I'm surprised he's got a 7.3 rating here, mate. But for me, I thought he was lacked that cutting edge going forward, because Everton allowed our centre backs to have the ball and they didn't really find line breaking passes or anything like that. Weren't really providing cutting edge passes in the final third, unfortunately. Mazraoui, he lasted 45 minutes, 27 out of 30 accurate passes, 90% as well. Again, I thought he was poor as well. I don't think Mazraoui had a particularly good game, but I think I probably would have kept him on simply due to that ball playing ability that he has over Lenny Yoro. I would have, like I said, put him at right centre back and then had Ahmad at right wing back. Didn't win a single duel in the 45 minutes, and I thought he was poor as well. Casemiro, again, he wasn't really, didn't offer too much. He was all right, I suppose. 41 out of 46, 89% duels. He's won 3 out of 7, so he's not won the majority there. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes, I thought he was okay. He was a little bit lively. He did miss just chance. I think in the 71st minute, you can see how close that is from inside the box. I think he needs to be doing better with that shot. But he's got 5 shots there. And I don't know how many on target, but I think 1 on target maybe. Yeah, 5 shots, 1 on target. Not great. 89 out of 96 accurate passes, which is a little bit surprising there. 2 chances created, and then in terms of his duels, he's won 1 out of 3, which isn't great. But he had by his standards, in terms of creating chances, he had a little bit of a poor game, because usually he creates 4, 5, 6 chances in a match. So only 2 chances created there. Dogu, I thought he was poor as well. I think our wing backs, like I mentioned, Mazraoui and Dogu were both poor. Lacked quality in the final third, and I think it didn't really improve with the substitutions in the second half either. 19 out of 25 accurate passes was 76%. He's won 2 out of 6 duels, which isn't great either. And Bumo had a quiet game as well. Wasn't really. He was getting involved here and there, but wasn't getting into really any dangerous positions. Only had 3 shots. I think this one was on target in the 63rd minute, and then Pickford has to make a really good save. Not a really good save, but a decent save. A save that a keeper should be making. In terms of his duels, he's won 4 out of 8 there, so he's won half of his duels there. But not really much can be said. I thought by his standards, he had a little bit of a poor game. And then Ahmad, I thought he was probably our most lively attacker, in my opinion. I think he was better when he went into the right wing back position, but not great. I think Jack Grealish did a good job in terms of tracking him back and helping out his wing back. I think he was up against Mikalenko. I think Jack Grealish did a good job, but Ahmad created 4 chances, which was the most in the match. And 42 out of 48 accurate passes with 88%, and then he's won 9 out of 16 duels, which is decent as well. So he's won the majority of his duels there. But yeah, Zirkzee, he had a couple of headers which could have gone in, but they did come a little bit late in the game. 80th minute here, 86th minute, and then in the 89th minute. They could have gone in, but it was a little bit unfortunate. Pickford did have to make a good couple saves. Only 2 chances created. In terms of his duels, he's won 4 out of 6, which is all right. But apart from that, I think it was a little bit poor performance by us. We didn't deserve anything from the game. Disappointing with how it's gone, because we're coming away with Two disappointing draws against Nottingham Forest and Tottenham Hotspur, which we should have been picking up maximum points in this game. And then obviously we're at home, and this is our first home loss since the first game of the season against Arsenal. Pickford here's got a 9.1. He had to make 6 saves, but I think they were all saves that were easy enough to make. Not really threatening too much in terms of the saves that he's had to make there. He's had to make routine saves. They were close to him, not really getting too much in the corners. Possibly, I think there was one that in the 80th minute, I think that was a really decent save. But apart from that, we didn't really trouble Pickford too much. But yeah, in terms of Dewsbury-Hall, he had a decent game for Everton as well. But like I said, with the circumstances we were in terms of the game, in terms of Everton going down to 10 men in the 13th minute, we need to be doing a lot better. In terms of the substitutes, like I mentioned, Mount and Dalot came on and filled in at left wing back and at right wing back, but again, they didn't really kind of offer too much, didn't really have too much of an impact. So we'll have a look at Mount here. 19 out of 20, 95% in terms of his passes, and then he's only won 1 out of 4 of his duels. And then Diego Dalot, he's got 21 out of 21 accurate passes with 100%, which is decent, but he didn't really create anything going forward. He was getting into some dangerous positions, but he lacks quality in the final third, in my opinion. 3 out of 4 duels won. And then Kobe Mainoo, 17 out of 20 accurate passes with 85%. 1 chance created for him in the 32 minutes he was on the pitch, and he didn't win a single duel, unfortunately. But in terms of overall, like I said, I am disappointed with the loss. If we are to be getting Champions League football, we need to be picking up points against. We need to be winning these games. Like we can't be dropping points to the likes of Everton at home after we've got 2 draws against Forest and Spurs. I think it's a really disappointing loss, and it just goes to show that we're not going to be getting Champions League football this season. I think we should be finishing inside the top 6, because I do think that we have a squad capable of doing so. But I'm just lost for words, disappointed again. I'm annoyed because these are games we should be winning, and we were on a good little run whereby we won 3 games in a row. We won against Sunderland, we won against Liverpool, we won against Brighton as well. But it's just like we're just back to square one again, and we're not making, and it's like as if we're not making any progress. It's just sad, disappointing again. Let me just see the games that we won in a row. We won 3 games in a row, followed by 2 draws. So we won against after we won against Chelsea 2-1. Then we lost to Brentford. Then we won 3 games in a row against Sunderland, Liverpool and Brighton. And then after that, we got 2 draws against Forest and Spurs, which, I think we were leading against Forest. And then we were leading against Forest. And then we were leading against Spurs as well. And then we dropped points. And then they went on to lead, and then we came back to draw against Everton, against 10 men. We simply weren't good enough. We have to be doing a lot better, and it's just another disappointing result, another disappointing performance. And yeah, I'm not happy. I think we need to be doing a lot better. I think we do have the squad capable of finishing inside the top 6, and in terms of the league table, let's just pull that up right now. I'll pull it up in just a second here. We are still in 10th position. So with a win, we would have moved to 21 points, and we would have been right up there. We would have been in 5th position depending on goal difference. We would have been ahead of Crystal Palace had we won today against Everton. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Everton draw level on points with us. So United, Tottenham, United, Everton, and Liverpool are all on 18 points. And it's a disappointed. In the previous games against Forest and Spurs, it was 2 points dropped in each game. It's 3 points dropped today, and we're dropping points left, right, and centre here after going on a good run, and it's just not on. We need to be we need to be pushing for Champions League spaces, and unfortunately we're just not. So yeah, overall I'm disappointed with the performance, disappointed with the result, and hopefully it can improve, but I'm going to stop predicting wins with us because we're so inconsistent. Every time I gain a little bit of confidence that United can go on a little bit of a run, can go on a run of a couple of games winning, and I predict a win, we just lose or we draw. So I'm going to stop predicting wins now. It's really annoying. I'm really disappointed with the result today. But yeah, next up we do have Crystal Palace away from home. And yeah, anyway, if you enjoyed this review, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.